Hello, my friends. I want to apologize ahead of time. I'm just recovering from a congestive thing, so my voice is a little hoarse. So I apologize for that. Um, Today, our gospel reading is from the Gospel of John in the first chapter, verses 43 through 51. Let us hear the word of the Lord. The next day, Jesus decided to go to Galilee, and he found Philip and said to him, "Follow me." Now, Philip was from Bethsaida, the city of Andrew and Peter. Philip found Nathanael and said to him, "We have found him, of whom Moses in the law and also the prophets wrote, Jesus, the son of Joseph, from Nazareth." Nathanael said to him, "Can anything good come out of Nazareth?" Philip said to him, "Well, come and see." When Jesus saw Nathanael coming towards him, he said to him, "Here is truly an Israelite in whom there is no deceit." Nathanael asked him, "Where did you get to know me?" Jesus answered, "I saw you under the fig tree before Philip called you." Nathanael replied, "Rabbi, you are the Son of God. You are the King of Israel." Jesus answered, "Do you believe because I told you that I saw you under the fig tree? That you will definitely see greater things than these." And he said to him, "Very truly, I tell you, you will see heaven open up and the angels of God ascending and descending upon the Son of Man." Thanks be to God for the reading of his word and for the preaching of it. So, we heard in this story about Jesus making his first call of disciples. It says he found Philip and said to him, "Follow me." And then in turn, Philip turns around and he invites Nathanael to come and meet Jesus. "Nathanael," Jesus says, "you must be a true Israelite, someone who really knows what they're looking for, someone who will ask questions and think and only accept what is very best for their life." All of that was implied in what he said. And Nathanael replied and said, "Hey, how do you know me?" Well, you heard what happened. At the end of our gospel reading, Nathanael made a declaration to become a follower of this man Jesus. But that didn't happen until a major shift occurred. You can see it in the text. Question after question after question. Nathanael demanded to have answers to these questions. How can my life possibly be better by associating with you? And after all, are you not a Nazarene? Why would I do that? And then, hey, how does he know me? The whole experience for Nathanael was all about me, until that moment when the light went on, when the fog cleared, when he had an epiphany. It wasn't about him. It was all about God. Yes, indeed. It was right then that things finally clicked for Nathanael. That Jesus was indeed the Son of God, the one that had been spoken of in the Old Testament, the one that everyone was looking for, the one that they had counted on to come and to deliver them. This was indeed the Messiah. and that this man had a message that would change the world, that this opportunity to follow him, to give up one's whole life to be part of this dream, well, it wasn't about Nathaniel and his happiness at all, and his best life right now. It was about God. This Jesus convinced perfectly normal people, respectable people, individuals to give up their whole lives and follow him. So today there are seminars and classes and curriculums and workshops, books, and training of all sorts that are available for those of us who want to find the key. The number one concern of people typically is, tell me how to have a successful, happy, abundant, prosperous life. Tell me how I can find my best life now. When Jesus began his ministry, he encounters all sorts of folks like us, people who were not, in fact, living their best lives, people who needed hope. Instead of promising what they had thought they wanted, this Jesus spoke about strange new ideas of love and justice, ideas that had very little to do with me and my life and my success and my best anything, and a whole lot more to do with God's message of love and reconciliation for a world, and not just for me. So, this is what he told us. The problem is, my friends, that the mission of the church is sadly not about you. The mission of the church is about God, about God's redeeming work in the world, about living out and making room for others to join into that living. Nathaniel finally figured it out. It took him a hot minute. It took him sorting through the questions of self-importance, his self-interest that up until that point had been the motivating and compelling force in his quest for self-actualization, for success, for ability to live his best life now. All of that went by the wayside. And when Nathaniel did finally figure all that out, when that moment came and the light went on and the pieces fell into place, well, he grasped in recognition the truth and said, "Teacher, you are the Son of God, the King of Israel. You are the one I've been looking for." Jesus invited these men to see something that they had not recognized before. There's something about this Jesus, the spirit that was upon him, the congruency of his teaching and his manner of living, as well as the wisdom that he bestowed and the compelling message that he gave that made people want to hear what he had to say. What they heard was, "I'm teaching you the way that God works, the way to find your true life, the way to find freedom from all that oppresses you." When you get to the end of John's Gospel, chapter 20, in verse 30, he summarizes the reason for writing the Gospel. And here's what he says. John writes, "Jesus performed many other signs in the presence of his disciples, which are not recorded in this book. But these are written that you may believe that Jesus is the Messiah, the Son of God, and that by believing you may have life in his name. Jesus' teaching and John's gospel are explicit that in order to truly find life, you must find it in him. He came to show us the way, which is why the early Christians were called people of the way. Not professional success, not material wealth, not self-actualization or societal prestige. It's not about any of these things that will ultimately satisfy you. It's him. You know that you want to live your best life now. So stop thinking about your life and your happiness and your preference and your success and your accomplishments, because it's not about you. It's about God. It's about the radical message of living life as a servant, of turning the world's views of success on its head. It's about taking up your cross and following no matter what the cost. Just so you can be part of this grand plan.